Hey, what's up guys? UrAvgWarGamer is back with another video for the warships, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at top 5 most powerful tier 10 ships that you can get from Santa crates. And if you want to get the idea and the reasons why they are indeed powerful, you should watch the video because I will give you the reasons and also the strengths and weaknesses of why these ships are too powerful in their current state. And if you get one of these ships in your port, consider yourself the lucky guy because they, in one way or the other way or form, just do so much insanity. It can be either from the torpedo boat like you find on La Pampa, either it can be from the Smaland. I will give you the reasons and give you my personal top 5 picks for these tier 10s. So watch this video and you will eventually find out. And by the way, if you are new to the channel, why not subscribe, because almost I make daily World of Warship videos. So you will definitely going to get huge value for everything that comes in the channel and also from the wargaming sides in the form of devlogs, in the form of all the events. I cover them in detail. So let's get started. And at number 5, obviously you can see right in front of your screen, and that is going to be the La Pampa, the only tier 10 Pan-American destroyer, special destroyer. As of right now, we don't have the tech tree destroyers from tier 5 to tier 10, whatever we call it, but La Pampa definitely have a lot of things going for it. So if you are a fan of torpedo boat destroyer, well, it can kind of gets compared with the tier 9 version of Venom, and I have made a video on the top 10 premiums across all tiers, and the Venom at tier 9 is very special because it spams 16 torpedoes very quickly under almost a minute or slightly more than a minute. But La Pampa also take this to the next level because if you take a look at the torpedoes, you have again the same range as you find on Venom, 10.5 kilometer, which might be slightly to the lower side, but considering if anything pushes you, you send these 15 torpedoes that reload in 100 seconds, deal 17.5k damage, so that is a better damage overall compared to the Venom 15,000 torpedoes, and having really good speed with 1.3 kilometer of concealment, giving it a reaction time of 6.7 seconds, which by the way, if we take a look at the gearing torpedoes, which are very stealthy as well, they are not like Shimakaze, they are basically better than gearing tops. And gearing tops have 1.4 kilometer detection, they have 1.3 kilometer detection, and with the speed that is going 73 knots, you get these very low reaction time on these torpedoes that actually gonna be even clipping destroyers very quickly and very easily. And because of this, the Pampa gets very special. So you do have a lot of torpedo soup like the Shimakaze, 15 of these torpedoes going for it. Yes, the damage is not like Shimakaze, but again, the reaction time is just so spicy. And that's what really clips, or at least help clipping the destroyers a lot, cruisers a lot, and that's where the Shimakaze line or any ships that have like the torpedoes that have higher reaction time tend to struggle. The La Pampa won't, and even if there are ships that having hydro, these torpedoes are still relevantly fast, 73 knots of speed. And well, to top it off, you also have access to torpedo reload booster that you find on UrAvg. So if you want to get the experience of non-deep water torpedoes that hit destroyers, because the UrAvg has a weakness, and weakness is that you cannot hit any torpedo on destroyer because these are deep water tops. Obviously they have even absurd reaction time, but these torpedoes will click DDs, and with the torpedo reload booster, which you do have 3 consumables, you can just quickly load them up. You know, in 8 seconds you will get another full set within no time. And even if you're thinking, bruh, there's 313.5 seconds of cooldown time, you do have the heals, again, very nice thing. If we compare it with the standard DDs like Shima, Gearing, and the UrAvg, you soon realize that you do have better HP compared to the Shima, and you do also have heals. So just straight up better in survivability compared to Shima, having torpedo reload booster and also having the smokes. Now, smokes are not like gearing, but they are still very valuable. And if that's not enough, they have given it an F key because that's the flavor of this nation, and that's where these things start to get pretty absurd. Now, if you stay stealthy for I think 3 minutes or something like that, so all you have to do is to just stay stealthy. And once you do this, well, you are going to get consumable preparation and reload time by minus 85%, which means all of that higher cooldown time, which is kind of the downside. They have literally made the downside that you won't be able to utilize the torpedo reload booster very quickly. But here's the thing, you get the F key, you get this torpedo reload booster down to under 60 seconds or almost a minute. I have calculated it, and usually in a minute, in a 60-second of time frame or something like that, you get this torpedo reload booster quickly charged. So if you use the torpedo reload booster, if it's on cooldown time, you press the F key, it will use that 85% minus consumable preparation and reload time for 30 seconds, and this will load up super quickly. And here's the fun part, there is no cooldown time problem with the heals, so the heals will be quickly up within like 10 to 15 seconds. So if you are out of heals or the repair party is on cooldown time, you will quickly get the heal. And here's the most absurd part, that if you think that your smoke 97 seconds is not long, you press the F key and you get another smoke. So you get the smoke and you have another smoke in that time. So you have deployed a smoke and then you use the F key and get yourself another smoke relevantly quickly. So you basically kind of become daring, but with bigger smoke generator. Unfortunately, it does not have that really amazing DPM with the guns. That is the biggest downside of the La Pampa. It's a torpedo boat destroyer, so they have given it Jutland or the daring guns, which means that the AP actually will still gonna do damage on broadside. It will actually penetrate rather than overpens, and obviously that's not enough DPM. And also the another probably the biggest reason why players and I personally will rate it slightly to the lower side of the spectrum at number 5 is because of the speed. No access to speed boost. It does have improved acceleration parameters. Yes, your guns are at the front. As you can see, your guns are at the front, so that's helping a lot. You can limit your profile and not letting a lot of the shells shoot towards you, because a lot of the shells will tend to hit here, and you can just small your profile like this. This can help a lot. This already is a good thing, but again, your DPM is not good enough against enemy gunboat DDs, and you don't have the speed boost, and your speed is very limited of 35.7 knots. And even if you use the Joker Marquis Lisboa, which is highly recommended captain, you can press the F key 2 times and get some extra speed, but that's still gonna be almost 37 knots. So not too much good still. So the speed is a problem, and you cannot push flank to flank very quickly. You cannot reposition like Shimokaze. Let's just say it that way. So that's where it sucks. But overall, that torpedo firepower is definitely a sweet thing. It's something that is absurd. It's something that any battleship will hate to push you. No one wanna push the La Pampa with this amount of torpedoes that you will spam. Obviously, that's the reason why it is for me at number 5. Kind of absurd in so many ways, except for some little weaknesses that if you mitigate, you do definitely see this to be a very powerful torpedo boat destroyer without a doubt. If you have a love for torp boats, La Pampa, if you have it in your port, consider yourself lucky to have this at number 5. At number 4, I'm sure you might know this cruiser in one way or the other once it smokes up with its 16 guns having absurd DPM, and it kinda reminds you of the latest cruiser Bremen, because Smolensk, just like the Bremen, has 16 guns and having access to smoke generator, which is absolutely bonkers, with Russian shell arcs, giving it an HE DPM of 422,000 and 554,000 EP DPM, just to give you the stats. Smolensk, UrAvgWarGamer never adds it, even in the Black Friday container. It's available only in the auctions, and auctions where you have to spend absurd amount of doubloons, like 40,000 doubloons was the minimum bid. It tells you that they do not want to sell it, or at least they want to bank from the Smolensk by putting it in auctions for 40,000 doubloons for a reason, and also putting it in Santa crates for another reason, that it is pretty absurd. Still, after some nerfs that they have done with the IFHE changes, it used to have 30mm plating. Trust me, it was toxic. It still is toxic. This very, very thin plating and very, very small profile and very, very thick citadel armor means this ship is an absolute troll. Troll to the levels where if you shoot on its broadside, you get overpens. And overpen is not like he's cheating. It's just the armor profile of 70mm with that much small hull is so small and thick that every battleship at tier 10 that's supposed to do citadel at tier 5, because remember, Omaha at tier 5, we do have that, American cruiser tend to have this thickness, but the battleships don't tend to have insane penetration numbers. Then they have taken that tier 5 profile of citadel armor plating into tier 10, and now it has to face the high penetration battleship shells where they just tend to get overpens. This is the most trollish thing of the Smolensk. And if that's not enough, you have the smoke with a really good reload time of 4.5 seconds, and you have absurd HE DPM still. So unlike Bremen, which you kind of hearing it a lot recently from the Steel Wheel event or from the Golden Gift container, it's still unlike anything. Bremen will definitely gonna be having insane penetration number, 38mm, that you can actually penetrate the American battleship's deck. That's where that infamous 38mm plating of Bremen will be very nice, but Smolensk will just throw so many shells while smoking up to ensure that it will stay disengaged. And if anyone try to shoot this guy inside the cover of the smoke, remember that it has amazing firing angles. My goodness, firing angles are amazing. You can absolutely speed juke in Smolensk, and with this thin profile, you tend to get still overpens at long ranges. Trust me, if there's a competent Smolensk player, and if you're pushing even like even if you are like messed up like that little, a spotting from a DD and a smoked up Smolensk will eat you alive, and you will regret every moment of pushing it. Seriously, this is even worse than Bremen if Smolensk smoked up just right when you are getting spotted by any enemy destroyer alongside with the enemy Smolensk. It's a very toxic experience. And if that's not enough, you do have the Hydro, which kind of makes it slightly good edge over the Jinan, although you can absolutely argue that Jinan is just straight up better after countless upon countless buffs by Wargaming, and the torpedoes are very limited, whereas Jinan is just a destroyer on its own. Like torpedo soup on Jinan all alone makes it completely absurd, and then it also have insane fires per minute that Smolensk just does not have right now. It used to be insane. It still is pretty insane. The shell arcs are still better. These are Russian crossover guns, so very easy to farm at long ranges. Even with the range mod that I'm using, I would still say that Jinan takes the lead, even with the wonkier, slightly less effective shell arcs, just because of the fire starting capability, that it is just better than Smolensk. Even then, it's still a very unique experience, and smoking up and farming something, it's gonna give a hell of an headache, like completely absurd with this AP DPM as well. Like, if you have not tried the AP DPM, well, it's kind of like the same thing as you do with Bremen in a very unique way. Again, the same thing. Broadside, absolutely punish anything that like broadsides, even in Smolensk. So even after so much sort of meta changes, it definitely sucks from the carrier spotting, and it's gonna be rough from that poor anti-defense, but still you can smoke up. It's kind of also like the get out of jail free card. You can always use islands as cover. It's still absurd, it's still broken, there's just no doubt about that. And if you have it, it's a unique experience. It's a hell of an experience for you, and as well as for the other ship that it's also like getting farmed by you. So for both of you guys, you have some experience. So, you know, just to give you some idea. So at number 4, there's just no deny. Smolensk is still broken. If you know what you're doing, it's still gonna carry games. It's still gonna fuck DDs. It's still gonna do carry a lot like crazy. Worth it. Absolutely worth it if you have it in your port. Okay, at number 3, I have made countless videos on Hildebrand and how absurdly broken this ship really is. I have talked about the strengths, I have talked about the weakness, and once again, it's in my top 5. And a simple reason why is that it's a carrier on a cruiser profile. Literally, if you want to feel a carrier experience on a cruiser hull while still having great cruiser guns, it's not like the cruiser guns are suddenly bad or something. The guns are really good, and it does not have any downside for it except for this tumor of a superstructure. Well, Hildebrand is exactly the experience for you as well as for the enemy destroyer, cruiser or battleship, whatever you want to take on, it will just gonna deliver and deliver crazy. Now, if you just don't have an idea, if you haven't watched some of my older videos where I have talked about the Hildebrand, well, let's just say that you are playing a carrier. You don't need to risk the hull. All you have to do is just sit behind the island and just launch these torpedo bombers every minute. Every minute you are launching these tier 10 torpedo bombers, dealing 4.5k damage, which is not so good, but considering if you can land these torpedoes on a DD with 55 knots of speed with a decent arming distance, now you started to be pretty annoying. Because a DD that wants to disengage, a Shimakaze, a Gearing, a Yu-Yang that wants to disengage, and trying to kite away from a massive firepower coming from enemy destroyer or maybe from the radar, you suddenly comes and send these torpedo bombers and basically create a crossfire of its own, making sure that he ate a torpedo. And I'm not joking when I say that you actually managed to eat many times 2 torpedoes on a broadside DD. Because these torpedoes are so easy to land. They are fast, they are easy because of their arming distance, and if that's not enough, you can always get floods onto the bow of cruisers or battleships, where then you can do another trick. Now you can either go for the bombers. Again, it's the cycle. It's the cycle that you can always use. You can always spam torpedo bombers without using any guns. You can always save your absurd HP, 66,000 HP, 37% torpedo protection for the late game, and can utilize your hull whenever there is no battleship that can potentially overmatch you a lot. So for example, if there are Shikishimas, Satsumas, incomparables that tend to overmatch your definitely vulnerable 30mm tech and this tumor of a superstructure, well, all you have to do is to just not engage with them directly with your guns, or just don't get spot at all. Like, you can just play it like a fucking carrier. This is an absolute game-breaking design. Okay, torpedo bombers are already pretty annoying and absurd, but they don't deal a lot of damage to anything except that they still get floods. If that's not enough, they come up with the bombers that are better than any tier 10 HE dive bombers at tier 10 period. There's no tier 10 aircraft carrier. Aircraft carriers are actually, the class that uses these planes and having the payloads. It has having best HE alpha compared to all the other tier 10 HE bombs in the entire game. And the reticle was small, and you can land 2 or 3 bombs with 13.7k alpha, 79% fire chance. Again, if you use these bombs on BDs, you dev strike them sometimes. Sometimes it's like 2 out of 10. Like, it's like 20% possibility of dev striking a DD. That's alone is pretty toxic, but you can basically just wreck his HP for half. Easy half. If you want to just delete half of his HP, easy. Use the bombers and you will land 3 bombs out of 6. Super easy. The reticle is stupidly small. Like, come on. And the spotting again itself would be another toxic factor. And if that's not enough, they have given it a heal. They've given it a heal on bombers. So that will ensure that you land all 6 out of 6 bombs every single time, 3 times in a game at minimum. If this game lasts long, you get 3 repairs. So this whole design is intended to screw you up with these bombs. They make sure that you get guaranteed damage as a consumable with the help of these bombs. Whether you want to drop on cruiser with 79% fire chance, which means guarantee 2 fires or 1 fires, guarantee 2 fires on 1 fires on battleship. Now that is totally up to you. So yeah, it's a carrier, and if that's not enough, you still have the guns. Cruiser, battle cruiser, I would say really good cruiser DPM. AP DPM is 272k. You still have battle cruiser dispersion, really good sigma. So it's not going anywhere in terms of that sigma or dispersion value. The dispersion is still very decent. The shells are these are A-gear guns. They smash cruisers, pretty much Citadel cruisers. 10k alpha. You are basically a monster. If you know what you're doing, if you don't tend to take so much damage from battleships that overmatch you, you can just simply play it and can ruin basically a full game of someone else by spotting them. Like, I don't have any words, guys. Come on, this is the level of design, absurd design. This is the highest level of absurdity that I can think of. And Hildebrand definitely takes the cake. So I hope you get the point. And if you have this ship, and if you like carriers, I think Hildebrand will be a very, very nice ship to have. Very, very, like the Lurtig, this Lurtig that is available right now for steel, this is actually worse Hildebrand. A worse ship than Hildebrand right now. You spend 31,000 steel only to find out that a ship that you can get from Santa Cruz is just straight up better because of your ability to have so much plane spam, insane bombs, everything. Including your reload time that is absurd. Like better reload time than Lurtig. Like, I don't have any words. It's just the reality how powerful this ship is in its current state. Unless they nerf it, which I don't know when, it's still very good at number 3. At number 2, well, Rhode Island is an entirely, I would say, an amazing experience, without a doubt. Like this ship, this battleship, well, it's not like a battleship, it's a battle cruiser you call it, because your armor plating, well, you might be thinking it's disappointing at 27mm, which kind of makes it like that of heavy cruiser, Alaska or Puerto Rico, whatever you call it. But here's the thing, this is the battleship that can utilize the captain skills of the battleship, which means fire prevention, extra heals, and to top it off, even if you don't use this emergency repair expert, you still have 4 heals. 4 heals. Not 3 heals that you usually have on cruisers. You get the 4 with the help of the skill like this, the superintendent. But in this case, you still have 4 heals. So it's not like your healing potential have gotten worse because it's a Rhode Island. They didn't treat it like a cruiser. They have treated it exactly like battleship with better armor, at least compared to cruisers. If you compare it with battleships, you might get disappointed because this is not exactly that you find on battleships. Right? This is a bit of a tough experience if anyone overmatches you from here. But the moment you see this armor plating, deck and side plating, that's where, compared to the heavy cruisers, you are just superior. You are going to be very resistant to overmatch. And cruisers at tier 10, they just get overmatched, obliterated by many ships that have 431mm caliber or above. They just get obliterated, whereas Rhode Island, with 12 of the guns, battle cruiser dispersion, 31% fire chance with 5k alpha, with absurd HE performance, you kind of mimic like Conqueror, except that you don't have that alpha. But considering that you have really good, like genuinely great accuracy on the guns, you still set fire, you still do like 8 to 10k volleys, or maybe slightly more, actually more sometimes, because you throw so many shells, and your reload time is just superior than Conqueror, okay? 22 seconds. And I'm not using the reload mod because, well, for the American battleship, you get improvement in dispersion. So battle cruiser dispersion 1.6 or 1.7 sigma on top of the artillery plotting room mod 2, improving it even further means Well, you get super tight HE and obviously the super tight AP, because AP is no joke. You actually citadel battleships at 10 kilometers. So if you have played Alaska and if you have citadel the battleship with that battle cruiser, these are just better, higher caliber guns. These are 356 millimeter rather than 305s that you find on Alaska and Puerto Rico. So you will just do a lot of damage. Really crazy, spicy damage. And if that's not enough, you have the radar and you have the engine boost. Like, bro, if you want a speed juke in this ship, you have it. If you want to have more HP than many cruisers in the game, you have it. You have everything that you dream on a battleship and a cruiser at the same time. It's as simple as that. And funny enough, if you do not want to use the radar for some reason, you have the spotting aircraft and the fighter plane. So if you hate carriers, fighter plane tend to limit that strike to 1. The fighter planes can help you dealing with carriers to some extent. So you do also have these consumables. It's not like that you can only use radar, but obviously radar is a no-brainer because you actually now counter DDs. So basically counter, oh, but I haven't even talked about, you have improved pan angle on APs, right? AP performance is just super duper good, man. Especially with this accuracy, you are disgusting. You are disgusting damage farmer. There is no other way of saying it. You are just amazing. Honestly, you have the best of cruisers and the best of battleships. And if you want to know this, ship class, well, this Rhode Island is hell of an experience, without a doubt. You have a counter to everything. Like, genuinely, you can do wonders in this ship. This is literally something that can carry so many games, and that's why it's one of the very strongest and obviously overtuned BBs. Obviously not getting overpowered status for me, broken status, just because of the armor plating of 27mm. If this would have 32mm armor plating, then there is no reason to play any, like, genuinely there is no reason to play like any battleship. Seriously, you just play Rhode Island. So this sometimes can be a letdown. Sometimes, because the shells sometimes tend to hit here and you get full pan damage from any other BB. So, but even then you have some ways to counter and can bait this armor to the fullest. Again, if you are a good player, you can pretty much easily get 200k damage every game, every single game. It's just so disgusting with the guns. HE, AP, both are just so potent. And you have, again, the gimmicks are so real. You have the cooldown time of 40 seconds. You find it on Massachusetts, Georgia, and Ohio. Same trick for Rhode Island. And well, that's just going to help you to improve your survivability to the next level. Cruisers, they can only dream of that cooldown time. Genuinely. And then the speed boost is just making it like 40 knots of speed. So you have like the French gimmick literally baked into the Rhode Island. A French gimmick is the speed boost. And you have the speed more than 40 knots if you use brisk. I haven't used it, but if I don't use the brisk, I still have 40 knots of speed. Go figure. Fast, one of the fastest battleships in the game, with every single good thing going for it. And also, compared to the cruisers, better torpedo protection, because why not? They treat it as a battleship, but still giving it a better thing than cruisers. It just makes me, feel that it is definitely at number 2. Just for all of these reasons. And at number 1, well, I have played Smaland a lot. And it still deserves the title of the best counter to any destroyer, 1 versus 1. If you are 1 versus 1 against Smaland, and if there is a competent Smaland player, any ship, even including the Barbiano, which by the way has definitely going to be having a huge advantage. Like, maybe against Barbiano it will not gonna survive with this absurd DPM, healing potential, insane speed boost and heal. Yes, it might struggle, but still it can beat him pretty much almost his 80-90% of his HP. Maybe kill him entirely if he's not the best of the play. 1 versus 1 can defeat any destroyer, and if they are torpedo boat destroyers, they're just gonna die. Now, Smaland was released, I would say, some good time ago, and it was completely overpowered, and then they have removed it, and we have having it in Santa crates, and it's still not changed whatsoever. Everything about it is basically the same. So, if I give you some idea of the Smaland, you have really good HP, you have the heals, which means that you can survive for long. And to counter those pesky DDs, and that's where you get the high game impact. The high game impact is that you just tend to counter them with your radar. With this DPM, 280,000 HE DPM, and I haven't even countered in the Fearless Brawler, which can increase the DPM to 300k. So yeah, 300k HE DPM, and with the heals that can help you survive, and with the 20 seconds of radar. Remember, the Gdansk have 10 seconds, which is a tech tree destroyer. This has 20 seconds. Yes, your detection of ships is only 7.5 kilometer, but then your concealment is just completely absurd. So absurd that if you don't use the concealment expert on a captain skill, you still have 6.8 kilometer concealment. So yeah, you can still stealth radar. That is how powerful the Smaland really is. And even if I just take out the concealment system mod 1 from here, you still might have like 7.5 kilometer detection. So you can absolutely use steering gears mod 2 if you want to. So that is gonna make it even better if possible, right? So yeah, the Smaland is an amazing destroyer. There's just no other way of saying it. It's still overpowered. You can have improved range with the help of captain skills, and with this TPM, you farm cruisers, battleships, and if you want to speed juke like a crazy madman, you use the rudder steering gears mod 2 and use this emergency engine power. And I'm telling you, you speed juke, speed throttle like I can't emphasize this enough. That this helped me so much to dodge almost every single shell that just comes towards me. Like, I have literally dodged every single shell with this emergency engine power. It's just so much potent. It's not gonna last for long. It's only gonna last for slightly over a minute. But man, that time that you have in the emergency engine power and the way that you can beat out any other destroyer and speed juke the shells coming from the enemy battleship and cruiser, is just amazing. With these guns and with this radar, this combo is super lethal. Every DD tends to die. 1 versus 1, it's very, very tough ship to deal with, man. This ship is not good for game health perspective. Because if everyone has Smaland, then everyone will be superior in their side. Like, a Smaland in the team literally can change the outcome of the match. Almost every single game. Seriously, it's just that good. And if you hate carriers, for example, if you hate carriers, it's a pan-European destroyer. It does have actually somewhat of a decent anti-defense. Let me just put the flag to give you some extra anti-defense numbers. And well, it's Holland anti-defense. So if you have played Tech Tree T10 Holland, it's without defensive wave fire. Smaland is without defensive wave fire and still having the same stats as Holland, which are very impressive. So you actually shoot down planes even if you don't have the smoke, right? That's the biggest problem. The Smaland does not have ability to disengage if the carrier spots you, but still you can actually shoot down some planes. And that's where Smaland gets so much value. Okay, so I hope you get the point. Smaland, one of the most powerful, still broken, still overpowered destroyer out there. And if you have it in the board, probably the dream of many destroyer players out there. This is the dream. This whole destroyer is a dream. And if you have it in your board, well, you get one of the highest game impact destroyers in the game. There is just no other way of saying it. You can win games, literally win games from a losing streak, win games out of the middle of nowhere. This is that experience. So I hope you get the point, and I hope you like this top 5, right? I can give you a couple of honorable mentions once again because there are some decent ships. Like, for example, the Incheon is a very good very good cruiser. Des Moines guns, destroyer dispersion. So if you want to get the Pan-Asian Des Moines, it's a very nice ship. And you have the smokes, right? You have the torpedo load booster, even though you don't have a lot of tropes like Jinan. Again, Jinan in its own way is better, but your shell arcs are so much better because these are Des Moines guns. And you set tons of fire still. You have really good fire chance. You have really good AP. You have improved pan angles. So this is a Chinese Des Moines or Pan-Asian Des Moines, whatever you call it. it's a very interesting experience with the smoke. So if you want to have it, this is also available in center crates, and it's also available in the armory, to be honest, so you can get it. But it's a very good ship, so I put it in honorable mentions. Another ship that I must say is very nice is gonna be the Thunderer. Now Thunder again is the same absurd, I would say, thing with the HE shells. So it is still having one of the most potent HE alpha on 457mm guns. 63% fire chance with battle cruiser dispersion and 1.9 sigma. These 8 guns will completely bust your HP and just take your HP like 5 digit with every single salvo with just simply HE only, double permanent fires, double fire with single salvo, double fire with, like, it's crazy. And the alpha is crazy, and if you shoot AP, it's crazy. It does have some weaknesses, however, and it does have some good counterparts like the tier 10 San Vincent. The Loria also is like the Italian Thunderer, you call it. It does have sap shell, so there are some ships that kind of, relaxes the Thunderer a bit, and especially after the range nerf, because you have 21.5 kilometer range, right? It used to have 24.3 kilometer range or something like that, so they have nerfed it directly. Without the nerf, it used to having the absurd range, so you can have like easy time shooting battleships at long ranges. So they have nerfed that thing, but even after the nerf, that range is still absurd. 21.5 kilometer is better than incomparable, to be honest. So yeah, incomparable with the spotter plane cannot get that range. Thunder still have that range, tells a lot. So yeah, at least I can say one thing, that it's kind of better than Incomp in some way. Like, Incomp does have some uniqueness, like better concealment, at least in the Incomp. The Thunder does have 12.3 kilometer concealment. There are some things I do not want to talk in detail, but that's an honorable mention. It's a very potent, very interesting experience if you want to take that battleship into the game. If you have one of these in Santa crates, absolutely you will love it, with some insane HE shells that you throw at enemy ships. Definitely let me know in the comments. I will end the video. I hope you get the point. I hope you get the top 5 ships. From my side, again, I have to add the disclaimer, these are my personal picks, but I do believe that these are pretty powerful, and if you have this, I would say pretty nice. You get lucky, GG, Wiggy, whatever. They got the money, and you got your powerful ship. Take care, guys, and peace out.